With more than 28 years of experience behind her, my guest on the Master's Voice today brings invaluable expertise in managing television networks operations in the media and entertainment industry in every sense of the word, the true media veteran. Hello and welcome to the Master's Voice on Mediabrief.com. I'm your host and friend Pavan Chawla, and I have with me my distinguished guest, Megha Tata, Managing Director, South Asia Discovery. Megha, welcome to the show.
Hi, Pavan. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and it's my pleasure to be chatting with you.
Thank you very much, Megha. And I haven't even started with the introduction. I really need to set the context. So allow me to introduce you, Megha. A media and entertainment industry veteran, Megha has held leadership roles at organizations such as BTVI, HBO, Turner International and Star TV in an illustrious career spanning more than 28 years. She's worked as part of the leadership teams at Star India and Turner and has a consistent record of increasing sales, effective negotiations, profit and loss analysis and strategic implementation of business operations. Her performance with both Star India and Turner is testimony to her path of excellence. Her ability to overcome obstacles and capture opportunities by closing exclusive deals, creating and implementing savvy marketing strategies. These have been amongst her several fortes. Her efforts were validated when she was recognized amongst the next 30 most powerful women to look out for in 2010. That's 10 years ago. And she was also adjudged to be one of India's hottest young executives of the media industry in 2009 by Business Today. Megha has regularly been counted amongst the top 50 influential women in media, marketing and advertising. She has also received the Women Leadership Award from the World Women Leadership Congress in 2014, and she was awarded Woman of the Decade in Media by the Women Economic Forum in 2018. She has served as Vice President of the International Advertising Association, the IAA's India chapter, from 2016 to 2018 and is currently in the MANCOM of the IAA. Megha currently leads multiple national as well as international industry forums apart from the ones that I mentioned. She was recently co-opted as the Director on Board of Indian Broadcasting Foundation. She's also on the board of the National Media and Entertainment Committee of FICCI and is the Vice President, as I mentioned, of the IAA. She also volunteers for the Isha Foundation. What keeps Megha ahead of every challenge, problem, opportunity? Strong leadership skills and excellence in training, developing and mentoring her staff and the customers. Not surprising at all because besides being involved in industry initiatives, Megha still, and I dare say always, feels energized by engaging with young minds through guest lectures at leading educational institutions including the IIT, IIM, ISB, UBS and many others. That's Megha Tata for you, Managing Director, South Asia Discovery, in brief. A truly rare combination of vast experience, knowledge and proven service and impact. A thought leader in the media and entertainment industry. So Megha, that was your brief introduction.
Wow, that was quite an introduction. Even I'm impressed.
I tell you, that twinkle in her words as much as in her eyes is what really endears Megha to everyone who works with her, her partners, her associates. Believe me, in more than, I think, 2 decades and more, I have never heard anything that is anything but complimentary to her. So Megha, it's been a year since you joined the Discovery Network.
I will send the check in the mailbox, okay?
Oh Lord. I hope you can see her tongue sticking out of her cheek. All right. So what's it been like, Megha? It's been a year since you joined the Discovery Network. What's it been like so far? Any special experiences, learnings, observations that you'd want to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, Pavan, I think, it's been just over a year since I joined. I joined April last year, and it's been an absolutely brilliant journey so far. Like you highlighted, I've spent actually a little more than 28, almost 30 years now in the industry, and have spent it in multiple organizations, which I have absolutely loved working in and learned so much from. But I must say that as an experience working in Discovery has been extremely fulfilling in every which ways. Not just the fact that I love what the brand and the company stands for, because I've grown up watching Discovery and of course multiple other channels the network brings to the table, but I think the philosophy of the company is what I completely connect with. And in the center of the philosophy of the company is people. In fact, our HR department is in fact even called People and Culture. It's not even called HR. People is the culture of this organization. And I really value that, to be honest, in this company, which I connect with. So the journey has been extremely rewarding. There's so much we've achieved in this short period of time. It's fabulous. And I completely thank and feel humbled to be working with a bunch of people who are brilliant. I have a fantastic team who drives some of these ideas and visions of making things happen. So it's been amazing.
Super. Megha, COVID-19 has really hurt businesses, but the media and entertainment space, especially the streaming services of OTT platforms, have found the going good on business, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, this has been it has been an unprecedented time for everybody around the globe, and everyone is trying to deal with the challenges in their own best way possible. But it also has been not surprisingly, the best time for content consumption, and the growth of content consumption both on TV and OTT has been unprecedented again. Crazy numbers of people wanting to watch content, because there's obviously lots of time and not enough work, and hence you're watching content. So but ironically and unfortunately, that while content has been at its peak in these times, the monetization unfortunately hasn't been, and that's the unfortunate balance most of the platforms are trying to manage. It's wonderful to say that there's so many people watching your content, but they are unable to sort of monetize it to the capacity we should have been able to in normal times. So it's been a challenge for most of the players, but in all honesty, it's also been a fantastic time for brands, for their content being consumed as well.
What's it been like for you on business and original content flow from Discovery INC? What percentage of your content mix originates in and is produced in India, let's say on television?
So the thing about Discovery kind of content, which the genre we represent, is that it is actually in many ways geography agnostic. Right. And that is the beauty about the genre we represent in the infotainment space and the lifestyle space as well.
Absolutely.
So we have a huge library of content. I mean, to the tune of like 300,000 hours of content is.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which sort of, no other big player can sort of compete in those lines. But
you could actually take all of it and put it in one historic capsule for generations to come, and it would be a great representation.
Yeah. I mean, that is a fact. I mean, we have that content which is created globally, and India is also one of the repository of that content creation. So it wouldn't be right to say that what percentage of content is Indian and what is global, because everything today, like for example, one of the biggest advantages our brand has is the number of languages we reach out to. So we reach out to 7 languages. We dub our content in 7 languages across for the country. So to me, so if I'm somebody, a Kannadiga, watching Discovery in my language, it's my content, Right. So it is local content for me. The genre we are in, it is, like I said, geography agnostic, and that is how you monetize and optimize content globally, and that is the beauty about this genre. So I would say all the content which we are trying to bring to our audiences are relatable to them in their own language. And of course, we do create original content as well.
You're listening to Megha Tata with me, Pavan Chawla, your host and friend. Megha, as you know, is Managing Director, South Asia Discovery. And when we come back after this break, we'll continue our conversation with her. Stay tuned. And we are back. Let's speak about an OTT platform I really like. And I'm not saying this because you're in conversation with me, Megha. Discovery made us all wait for it far too long, for your OTT platform Discovery Plus, and then you launched it bold as ever when the lockdown was just setting in. And I dare say most other players were still trying to test the waters, dipping their toes nervously into it and not making any commitments. And you not only launched Discovery Plus, but on the back of a massive, I think your biggest show perhaps ever with Thalaiva and with Bear Grylls. So mega launch, Megha. Tell us about it, the build up to the launch and then that little or rather big hiccup that the entire industry experienced when COVID-19 first really and truly shook it up. So was there any hesitation to launch then, though you went ahead and gave it a great launch? How much time from decision to create or curate Discovery Plus and then to launch it? What was that journey like? Tell us about that, because this has been perhaps the last really significant OTT platform launches. And while people keep saying very late, I do not agree. But please tell us about it.
Sure. So, yeah, you're right, Pavan. It was about time Discovery brought their OTT offering into the world. And yes, you might say it's a bit late, but it's also, I guess, each organization has their own priorities. And right now, Discovery's priority is to build the D2C business, not only in India, but globally. And that's something which is happening as we speak with the multiple plans and launches which are happening around the globe with reference to D2C. So clearly the Discovery is not only strengthening their core business, which we have for so many decades, but now adding a layer of a D2C play into the world. With reference to the Discovery Plus launch in India, yes, absolutely. This has been one of the most phenomenal launches probably in the history of OTT players in the country, primarily because we had big plans to launch and we were all out there ready to launch, and then the lockdown happened. So we launched it pretty much in the week of the lockdown. And that one could imagine when you're doing any product launch, if all the marketers who are listening would say, oh my God, how do you deal with this now? You can't physically get out. You have to work from home. There's a new product getting launched, which has its technology, which is so tech integrated. How do you make this product connect with the audience, reach out to them, make them sample it and make them love it? In hindsight, it sounds pretty easy, but it definitely wasn't the thinking when we were putting it out there. But I am so amazed by the teamwork which brought about this fabulous launch of the product, which, as we now know, is one of the most loved apps in the country today. In fact, in the last month's ratings, we are the number one rated app in the country today amongst every player in the market.
On what number?
These are the store ratings which you get, whether it's the App Store or the Play Store.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's also based on the fact that a lot of people are giving some great feedback about the product, Right. So people are loving our content and the experience of it. In fact, it's been a super take which people have absolutely absorbed and continue to engage in. In fact, our engagement is also very high on our shows. But what was really, I think, sort of gratifying was that when we launched our product on Fire TV, uptake of our product has grown 2.5 times as a result of that.
Wow.
I think that's been a great validation of our product.
Wonderful. Great content always resonates, don't you agree? So what is the other kind of, especially for Discovery Plus, your D2C content platter like? From where do you get, what are the other great sources of content to add more richness and variety to Discovery Plus?
Discovery Plus offers actually a lot of differentiated content from across our Discovery channels. So which includes Discovery, Animal Planet, Discovery Science, Motor Trend, Edgy TV, TLC, etc. Some of these are international products and international channels which haven't come to India. So there's a lot of content which is available from this lot of products of ours, and we are now strengthening this slate by adding premium content which is going to come from BBC.
Wow.
So we have a content tie-up with BBC globally, and that content is going to come onto Discovery Plus soon, which will again enhance our proposition even stronger.
So does Discovery give the lie to the widely held belief that Indians still don't like to pay for content. Megha, what's been your experience with the discovery content across TV and OTT?
It's a tough uphill task to get people to pay for content. But I think our experience has been that if you are bringing a differentiated proposition, even in a crowded market, people will pay for it. And it's also about, it's not just about paying, but the right pricing makes a big difference as well. So, Indians are very price conscious. They want to know what's the value for money they are getting in. And when you have a product like Discovery Plus, which is currently priced at $299 for the year, it's like a no-brainer, right? I mean, you're getting so much value. If it was another sort of just another OTT offering with similar kind of content which the audiences are getting enough of out there, then I can imagine would be a question in a consumer's mind that, why do I need another one of the same, and why do I need to even pay? So I think the difference what Discovery Plus is the differentiated. We are the only player in the market with this kind of offerings, and that's the white space we identified when we did launch, and our hypothesis has been proven correct.
Wonderful. You're listening to Megha Tata with me, Pavan Chawla, your host and friend. Megha, as you know, is Managing Director, South Asia Discovery. And when we come back after this break, we'll continue our conversation with her. Stay tuned. And we are back. What is your plan for AVOD going forth? Because, in the regional markets and, the high growth tier 3 and 4 markets where the propensity or willingness to pay is pretty low. And I feel that your content has such amazing stickiness and power that marketers would definitely want to ride it and get to the back of beyond also. So wouldn't AVOD help you drive that? What are your plans, if any, for strengthening your AVOD offerings to marketers and consumers?
Well, I don't think so. We are looking at differentiating the two. I mean, this is a Discovery Plus offering. We want to strengthen our platform with bigger and better, more and more content, which consumers are absolutely loving. And the beauty about a platform like OTT which is so data driven, that you know exactly what a consumer is liking, what he or she doesn't want to watch or watches a lot. So how do you keep evolving that offering for that consumer, so you're making it a deeper engagement with the consumer? Okay. So we will continue to do that both in the AVOD as well as the SVOD play, and it all depends on what the consumer wants. At the end of the day, as like any product launch, we have to listen to the customer, we have to listen to the consumer. If he or she wants something, we need to provide it, and if he or she doesn't like something, then we need to listen to that and take action accordingly. So these are evolving things. There's no book where you can say, okay, this is the rule and this is how it's got to be. Absolutely. Every day you need to listen to the customer and keep providing him or her the content of his or her choice.
Truly segmentation of one. Okay, what's your key audience profile on Discovery? Who are your main consumers or the end users? And who are the influencers on purchase decisions in the family? I mean, that you target with your marketing?
Well, I think it's still early days, to be honest, because we just launched. It's not even, we launched it in, it's not even been 6 months, to be honest. We are getting a lot of information from the ground as well, but I would say much to like what Discovery brand in the linear world also stood for, it is a bit more male skewed. It is, I would say, around 70% male skewed. But when you look at the content consumption happening, it is actually almost 50-50 when it comes to tier 1 versus tier 2 cities. So nearly, it's about 55-45. So I think, more in favor of the tier 1. But there's a large audience in the tier 2 cities who are consuming our content and are loving our product as well.
Excellent. And since we are on marketing...
In fact, if I can add, I think one of the other reasons is the whole languaging part again. So that's something which I spoke about earlier as well. Languaging plays a big role in connecting with the audiences. Though having said that, large part of most of our content is in English and Hindi for sure. But other languages 100% of our content is not in other languages, but there are certain pockets of it which are in different languages.
Wow, that's great. And Megha, since we were speaking about marketing, what changes in the marketing strategy and philosophy around you do you see that the COVID-19 has enforced? Any rethinks on the past models or approaches, if any, from marketers? Basic insights for young professionals who are listening in.
Well, first of all, yes, this is the time to actually step back and revisit and reimagine of how things need to be done. I've been always a glass half full person. So for me, in every challenge, you can look for an opportunity. And I think that's the important takeaway for me, especially in these times, that just because it was being done doesn't mean it needs to continue to be done. So we have to look at our own individual strategies and figure what is a better way to do it. Maybe it hadn't been attempted because when you're in the thick of things, you just continuously keep running without probably having the time to revisit and rethink. Maybe this is the time to do that. So for us, I think our learnings out of Discovery Plus launch and our linear business challenges which we have faced has really got us to think about how we should be probably looking at how to run our businesses in the coming months and years.
Right. Now, I don't want you to comment on the TRAI, NTO and NTO2 abominations. That's the only word I have for them. The terrible meddling in a place that TRAI had no right to be blundering about in. And I have very strong views on them, as you can imagine from what I just said. But my observation that I'd like to share with you here, Megha, is when I was forced to cut down from the lovely mass bouquet of all the channels I'd get from, say, a Tata Sky for a decent monthly fee pre-NTO, I actually cut down on a whole lot of channels, but the Discovery bouquet and the Nat Geo channels remained. So going by my personal experience, I think they must have done pretty well. But I must ask you here to tell me this, how did the Discovery television channels fare post NTO, and so far how have they fared? And what are your plans for them during and after the lockdown?
Yes, Pavan. NTO came as a bolt from the blue for many broadcasters, and everyone was reeling with this impact for a very, very long time. And I think that has completely changed many businesses, to be honest. But I can say this, that that's an impact not just for Discovery as a network, but across multiple other networks which had to deal with it. And in spite of us not having a big mass GEC play, I think I'm happy to say that our impact was as bad or as good as the rest of the big players in the market. So I think for our brand, as a genre, we could have been even more badly affected because of the space we are in. But I'm happy to say that we were not. So if in overall there has been impact of reach about 30% for the most of the players, then we were in the same range as well. But I think the key reasons why I believe we were as good or as bad as any other big network or player in the country was two. One, the power of our brand. Okay, so like you also said, you as a consumer, if you want to take this, you don't want to let go of Discovery, because this is a content proposition which is so true to what a family can watch together and create that whole bond of the family. So I think most of the families would like to watch content we bring to the table. So I think that brand pull was one key thing. And the second thing what worked was pricing. I think we priced it really well, for a 8 rupee pack, where for 8 rupees a month you can get an amazing lineup of product is something a money can't buy kind of a decision. You can just, it's a no-brainer decision. Absolutely. So I think those were the two key things which really led to an amazing uptake of our product, and the affiliate teams have done an outstanding job of being able to compete in the market with the big players. And so yeah, in that sense, I would say we were not that badly affected. We were as affected as most of the other players.
Yeah, I know. You took the words out of my mouth. I also believe that Discovery, the whole network, offers exquisite content and really priced it very, very nicely. So yeah, thank you for that. You're listening to Megha Tata with me, Pavan Chawla, your host and friend. Megha, as you know, is Managing Director, South Asia Discovery. And when we come back after this break, we'll continue our conversation with her. Stay tuned. And we are back. Megha, a report said that Netflix has been losing users in the US as the lockdowns begin gradually opening up simply because people, have begun going out a bit. So you don't need to comment on Netflix, but how do you expect OTT users to behave after the lockdown in India, and why?
It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, obviously. I mean, if you're going to go out and go back to a normal life where you're going to be going to work and office, so your time consumption will reduce. So that will happen. I mean, we can already see there is a bit of change of percentage of content being consumed, say 2 months ago to the recent weeks, for example, because there is a sense of content fatigue, which is probably coming into a consumer's world. And I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm sure you and I will also be going through that at an individual consumption level, right? Yeah. So I think in this environment and in this scenario, it becomes even more prominent to have a product offering which is differentiated, so that you are not, you're a choice of the customer, not because I don't have anything to do, hence I'm watching something, right? And the moment I become a choice for the customer that I want to watch Discovery, then that is a different mindset of a customer completely. Then he or she will watch it irrespective of her or his regular schedule as well. So I think therein we believe that we do have a very strong play, because like I said in the beginning, we do bring the differentiated offering, which today no other OTT player can speak of. So we are very, very differentiated and with in-depth lineup of content. So I think such players will be able to hold their fort for longer run.
More strength to you, Megha. And yes, I completely and entirely agree with you on that. So Megha, to switch a bit, what are the most important values, traits, qualities, skill sets, whatever, mix them up. But give me 3 most important things to you that you must be able to see in anyone who approaches you saying they want to work with you.
Okay, I mean, I haven't really thought of it when I'm hiring people that is a particular trait. But I guess I probably will go with somebody based on a few my own personal experiences. And sometimes I've used that as a metric for my own self on taking certain decisions or running a company or running a department per se. In fact, top of that, I mean, if you're asking me 3, I would say top is passion, because passion has always been my mantra. And I do believe that if you're passionate about something, everything else will follow, the success and whatever the glory which comes along with it. You have to really love what you do, because then it doesn't matter. If the journey is what you really are passionate about, then the goal clearly will be success. So to me, I really look for that for one. Second, I think it's positive attitude. I think in today's world, there's enough crap to deal with. Yeah. So, the point is that you cannot control the world, but the only person you can probably control is yourself and your mind. Right. So the more you are positive in your looking at things or approaching a situation, even in the most challenging times, really, like I earlier said, my glass half full approach, that to me is half the battle won for any problems to deal with. So you have to come with a can-do attitude. You have to come with a positive attitude in life. And to me, that becomes another big plus for anybody who with that attitude who can really bring, you may not be an expert, but come with an attitude that it can be done, so that's the number 2 thing.
Passion, positivity, number 1 and 2.
Passion, positive attitude, and number 3 would be, I guess, prioritization, because there's lots to be done. Right. So you'd want a lot, but there are only 24 hours in a day, and you need to balance your life in a way that it doesn't consume you. The work shouldn't consume you. So you need to balance your life. So for that, prioritization will have to come into foray. You have to identify what is important at that stage of your life and play that game accordingly. Again, like I said, there is no black book for every person. It's going to be different. My priorities in this time of my life are different to what they were earlier, and so could be for you. But if you have that in your head, I would say, I really look for that kind of approach in an individual as well. So passion, positive attitude, and prioritization.
Excellent, insightful advice. Thank you very much indeed, Megha, on behalf of every youngster who's listening to you. Okay, last question. I see beautiful pictures of you and your family, you with your daughters and the family, and I can tell that family time means the world to you. How else do you unwind, Megha?
Yes, Pavan, as you rightly said, I love being with my family. And to be honest, this work from home has something I've absolutely enjoying now. Initially when I started, I was a bit conscious whether this will work out well, but I'm quite loving it now. And spending time with them is something I completely cherish. I have 2 beautiful daughters, a loving husband, fabulous mother-in-law. So we're all enjoying each other's company. So besides, of course, hanging out with them, there are a lot of games we'll end up playing. There are a lot of interesting things my young daughters make me do, including make crazy videos and
I've watched those.
It's fun, but yeah, unfortunately you can't step out because obviously, but otherwise in normal times I've always been an adrenaline junkie, so I've loved my adventure sports. I do motorcycle riding as well. I ride sometimes we go for these bike holidays to the mountains. So
I've seen you all leathered up on big, massive fat bikes.
Yes. Yeah, my husband's a rider actually, but I call myself a wannabe biker. So, but I do ride the 500cc bullet, and I love my adventure sports. I love bungee jumping, skydiving, river rafting. So hopefully someday soon I will be able to do all of that again.
Superb. So that really was a wonderful conversation for me. Thank you very much indeed, Megha, for being on the show.
Thanks, Pavan. In fact, if I can just add one more thing, I think in these times, if all the young people listening, that it is important to bring a sense of like a alternative existence kind of experience yourselves, whether it's in form of a meditation or form of yoga, because this is so important, especially in these times. And I'm a big believer myself. I've been practicing yoga for the last 7 years, and something I believe that has changed my life completely, which includes my meditation. That sort of brings so much calmness to your mind, which helps your ability to deal with some of these situations. So to your question of, what else do I do? This is another thing which I do very, very strongly and every day of my life.
Wonderful. So Megha, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. Thank you for your time and all the warmth. I must tell my listeners and readers of Mediabrief.com that I am privileged to call Megha a friend too, and really appreciate all the time and all the inputs you've given to make this, I'm sure, an extremely enriching episode of The Master's Voice on Mediabrief.com.
Thank you so much, Pavan. It's always a pleasure chatting with you, and I'm glad we were able to do this. I hope there's lots of people who hear this, and if anyone wants to ever reach out to me directly, I'm happy to speak to them. But thank you so much for this opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Megha. We are going to put this, and it's going to get listed on all the top podcast directories worldwide, covering about 98% of people who ever reach out for, search for, and listen to podcasts. Megha Tata, my friends, Managing Director, South Asia Discovery, was my distinguished guest on this episode of The Master's Voice on Mediabrief.com. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, found it as insightful as I did. And till we meet again, till the next time, this is your host and friend Pavan Chawla saying, stay safe. Bye-bye.